Who dare wakes the king? What was that? Oh no, I think I got a flat. Better change it. Oh, I'm out of here. Welcome, LEGO Transformers friends. This is Soundvox with LEGO Transformers Generation 1 Predacons Razor Claw. Now you can see here, Razor Claw is clearly a lion, the king of the jungle, and he is the leader of the Predacons, the most fierce jungle animal. He shares in color scheme with oranges, yellows, reds, and black color patterns. That unifies them as a team. Not only are they bulky and big beasts, try to say that 5 times fast, but they're also color coordinated. So they're one of the few combiner teams who match their colors very well, especially when in combined mode. So let's take a close look here at Razor Claw. So we went for a lion's face here. I try to get the lion mane. These pieces are flat, smooth pieces facing forward. Then the rest are built up. Got these nice curved pieces that could be the top of the mane, or they could also simulate lion's ears. They're trying to do both at the same time. Another neat thing about this piece and this piece is this coloring. They're kind of a yellowish orange, sort of like craft single slices. And I think this is a neat LEGO color because you can see his lower jaw is made of bright yellow, the standard LEGO yellow, and you can see just above there's orange, standard yellow orange, which is a newer color as well from what I know. So this medium yellow orange color looks great in between. It gives his mane a distinguished look compared to the rest of the figure. So to make his fearsome and ferocious expression, I have these 2 large white teeth pieces here. And I wanted them to make him look mean and ferocious. Ow, I think he just bit me. On top of that, to give him a fearsome mouth, we have some red pieces in there to give him the simulation of gums or the redness in the mouth. We have a yellow stud for his nose, and this duller dark red to kind of break it up. Inside his face, if you look real close, you could see these square holes, and then there's round stud pieces that are translucent red studs. That gives him a glowing, mean red eye look. It also gives that kind of like organic look to his eyes. He is a lion after all, even though he's a robotic lion. Then his shoulders. You'll notice something very similar. Razor Claw and Headstrong share in these shoulder designs. I use these smooth pieces from the Poe Dameron X-Wing set, and they came with a sticker that went on them. And I think that little line for the orange on the sticker really separates the colors. It looks really good. and it kind of ties those two together, these two Predacons. And then I use a normal black smooth piece here and a neat smooth piece here, giving him that kind of smooth curved lion aspect and muscular look. For his claws, we have a little triangle wedge, a little black triangle wedge, and he's got a little cat hinge on his leg here, that back cat hinge. You got one stud holding the leg up, which will be used for transformation later. Then the back foot, we have these older square pieces with the one stud in front, and the stud is hollow, so I could put a claw in it. A little yellow spike is his claw. And I break up the pattern a little with some reds, some blacks. And then we have this nice gold piece here, and this came out of a Creo set. It was a G.I. Joe Snake Eyes Creo set, but I love the color of it. The original toy of Razor Claw had some gold aspects to it, so I thought it was real great to use it. Plus it has this weird little oriental pattern, kind of looks neat too. And he kind of does look like one of those Chinese oriental lions a little bit, so I think that's kind of cool too. On top of that, he has a hinge joint in his body. This hinge joint is made out of a couple different Technic pieces. So from the side, you can kind of see through the holes here. He's got a Technic brick, another Technic brick, and then a kind of like a loop piece. And that gives him some versatility for his transformation. It also makes for some neat posing for cat movement, stop motions. But it's mainly for his transformation in both to robot and combined modes. But before we get to that exciting transformation, let's take a look at some other characters for size comparison. So we'll put Razor Claw right here, and we'll bring in his friend Rampage. We've seen Rampage in a few videos now. He's another Predacon. He's a little bit smaller than Razor Claw. And that's because he's a tiger, Razor Claw's a lion, but also Razor Claw is the central component of Predacon, so he has to be a little bulkier. He's got to do a lot of heavy lifting. So they look very good size relation together. Great snarling teammates. Now let's compare Razor Claw to a Lego minifigure. Well, there's our terrified safari man. Look at that look on his face. He's sweating bullets right now. And he's standing next to Razor Claw. So you can see Lego scale, he's definitely much bigger than a standard real minifig scale lion would be. And it would be hard to make a minifig scale lion and make it transform. But the Predacons were much larger anyways. They were larger animal robots, basically. So they were pretty much as big as cars. So size comparison for that, he's actually very well sized to the minifigure based on his Generation 1 Transformer design. Now let's move Safari Man out of the way and bring in Thrust. And the reason I'm showing Thrust, like I did with all the other Predacons, is Thrust is in robot mode, and the Predacons liked their animal modes almost as much as they liked their robot modes, so they were constantly in animal mode. So it's good to kind of compare the two, plus it gives you an idea of the size between a transformed Transformer and his beast mode. So that's Razor Claw in his lion mode. So now it's time to transform him and see what he looks like in a robot mode. Those back legs, they're going to flip around in this Technic piece. And that makes his back component become his feet. Then we're going to take his legs, you see the back angled cat leg, we're going to rotate that around. And I gotta do it very delicately because it's only held on by one stud using stud friction right there. And then we bring this forward. I'm going to do that with the other side too now. Rotate it around. And I feel that one getting loosened up, so I'm going to push it on it a little bit because that one stud is doing all the work there. And then we're going to pull this one forward. Now, those back hinges that were his cat legs become his elbows, his elbow joints. And now we have clearance so we can move his body down more. And because of the double joint here, it allows it to move such a way that it sets right into place. And then we're going to bring up his head. And there we have Razor Claw in robot mode. So let's take a look at some of his details and features. So those cool gold pieces become his feet in robot mode. And that looks really good, and it's very similar to the G1 toy, because I believe it was his feet were gold, and right around his mane there was some gold hints too. The elbows allow for some movement in robot mode, and he's got hands here, so he can hold weapons such as little blasters or little swords or whatnot, stuff like that. His head, I use a red stud and one of these old-fashioned square studs with the side stud, and it's the hollow ones. It's yellow. What I try to simulate here is Razor Claw has sort of like a red face inside of a yellow helmet. So I wanted to make sure I got that yellow helmet look to him with the red face. And using tiny Lego studs, this is pretty fair assessment of that. And you can see he keeps his lion face as his chest, which is most of his chest. And his big tough lion shoulders become his big tough robot shoulders. You'll also notice in the side here, there's a little hole right there. And on this side, there's a little hole. These are some Technic pieces that are going to become functional later on when he's combined. Also looking at him, his back isn't really that great. Most of these Transformers, they're meant to be looked at from the front. The back is just exposed studs. I could not put any pieces on here to cover them because they would get caught in the transformation here and it wouldn't transform. And then his little lion legs are hanging off the back. But that's fine because there he is in robot mode. He looks big, he looks tough, he looks dangerous. He looks like the leader of the Predacons. So let's compare him to his buddies again. So here's Rampage in Beast Mode again, just to show the difference between their alt modes and their robot modes. And you can see he's about double the height of what he was before in robot mode. Compare the minifigure. Once again, before the lion head was just up to the minifigure. Now it's way up in the air. So this is about the size he would probably be as a G1 character compared to a human. I mean, there might be a little bit size difference, but this is Lego, so it's a pretty good scale, I think. And then here we go with Thrust. So Thrust is in robot mode. And you can see he's the same height as Razor Claw. In fact, his nose cone actually comes to the top of Razor Claw's head. But because Razor Claw is so strong and bulky, he looks bigger. And Thrust is much skinnier than Razor Claw. But that's because these Predacons were very much like the Dinobots. Big, bulky, strong beast transformers that turned into big, strong robots. And of course, the Predacons have the added advantage of combining. So this has been Lego Transformers Generation 1 Predacon Razor Claw. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, leave a comment, And if you want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe and stay tuned, because next time we'll unveil the combination mode known as Predacon.